Have you ever felt this? Stuck trying everything, but the connections you seek just aren't happening. You buy the right car, wear the right clothes, follow every guaranteed piece of advice, but female desire remains an enigma, forbidden territory. What if I told you everything you've learned about attraction is a brutal lie? Get ready. Your perception will be shattered and rebuilt. Hit that like button now and comment where you're watching from, because what comes next will change your life. First, let's demolish the myth of superficial perfection. You chase the image, the status, the rehearsed script. You wake up early, hit the gym, buy the expensive cologne, memorize the pickup lines. But you know what happens? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why? Because female desire isn't activated by an external checklist. It's an inner primal force that responds to something much deeper. The first brutal truth nobody tells you. She doesn't seek your perfection, but your integrity. She craves your raw truth, your controlled vulnerability, your ability to be real. In a world of masks, think about it. How many times have you seen the most average guy in the world with an incredible woman, and you with all your attributes alone? The difference isn't in what he has, but in what he is. He isn't afraid to show his flaws, his doubts, his controlled fears. And that, my friend, is irresistible, because in an era of filters and facades, authenticity is the new luxury. But be careful. I'm not talking about being sloppy or defeated. I'm talking about having the courage to be imperfect with confidence, to admit when you don't know something, to laugh at your own mistakes, to show emotion without falling apart. It's a delicate yet powerful balance. Have you ever tried to impress someone by pretending to be perfect? How did you feel? Exhausted, right? Because maintaining a mask is tiring. And worse, it's transparent. They notice, they always notice. The scent of desperation is unmistakable. So what's the solution? Simple but not easy. Start practicing conscious imperfection. In your next interaction, instead of trying to seem perfect, share something genuine about yourself. A challenge you overcame, a fear you still have, a passion nobody understands. Watch the magic happen, the instant connection, the sparkle in her eyes, because you just did something 99% of men don't do. You were real. And this leads us to the second brutal truth. Second, the seduction of the mind and soul is infinitely more powerful than any physical attribute. You've been taught that attraction is purely visual and physical, that you need to have the perfect physique, the latest model car, a fat bank account, a lie, a blatant lie. The second brutal truth: female desire is predominantly emotional and intellectual. She is attracted by your mind, by your ability to evoke feelings, to inspire growth. It's not about what you have, but what you are and what you make her feel. Let that sink in deep. What you make her feel. Safe, challenged, inspired, curious, alive? If your presence doesn't evoke powerful emotions, you're just another face in the crowd, invisible, disposable, replaceable. But when you master the art of emotional and intellectual connection, you become unforgettable. How do you do this? First, stop talking and start listening. Really listen. Not that superficial listening where you're just waiting for your turn to speak. I'm talking about deep, active listening, where you pick up not just the words but the emotions behind them, the unspoken fears, the whispered dreams, the hidden pains. When she talks about a stressful job, you don't offer immediate solutions. You ask how she feels. When she mentions a childhood dream, you don't change the subject. You explore, question, genuinely show interest. You know what happens when you do that. She feels seen, heard, understood. And that, my friend, is more seductive than any Ferrari. But there's more. Develop your own intellectual and emotional depth. Read books that challenge you. Have formed opinions, yet be flexible. Cultivate passions that go beyond the superficial. Be someone with whom she can have conversations that last until dawn. Conversations that make her think, feel, question. Because at the end of the day, the body ages, money comes and goes, but a fascinating mind is eternally seductive. Have you stopped to think about your last conversations? Were they memorable or forgettable? If you're realizing you need to work on this, you're already ahead of most. But get ready, because the next truth goes against everything modern society preaches. Third, the dance of resistance and challenge is the secret fuel of desire. You've been conditioned to always please, agree, yield. Be nice, they said. Be understanding. Never disagree, always make it easy. And where did that lead you? To the devastating territory of the friend zone, to romantic invisibility, to the desert of desire. The third brutal truth: female desire is ignited by healthy resistance and constructive challenge. I'm not talking about being a jerk. I'm talking about having your own structure, boundaries, a universe she might want to explore. She doesn't seek an echo, but a partner who challenges her to grow. Think of any great love story. It has tension, it has challenge. It has two powerful forces that meet, not one that dominates and another that submits. It's a dance, not a surrender. When you agree with everything, when you always give in, when you don't have your own opinion, you become predictable. And predictability is the death knell of desire. She wants someone who surprises her, who pulls her out of her comfort zone, who makes her question her own certainties. But how do you do this without being disrespectful? It's a refined art. Start by setting clear boundaries about what's acceptable to you. If she cancels a date last minute for the third time, don't pretend it's okay. Express calmly and firmly that your time is valuable. If she tests your limits, which all women do consciously or unconsciously, hold your ground, not with anger or resentment, but with the tranquility of someone who knows his own worth. Have your own opinions and don't be afraid to express them. If she loves a movie you thought was terrible, say so, but say it with intelligence, humor, arguments. Turn the disagreement into a stimulating conversation, not an argument. Show that you have substance, that you're not just another doormat trying to please her at all costs. The result? Respect. And respect is the foundation upon which desire is built. Without respect, there is no lasting attraction. You might get momentary attention by being excessively agreeable, but you will never win deep desire. Remember that time you gave in on something important just to please? How did you feel afterward? Diminished, right? And she noticed. Even if she didn't say anything, she noticed. And a piece of the attraction died there. Comment now if you've been through this. I want to know how many are ready to change this pattern. But hold tight, because the next truth demands even more from you. Fourth, the need for constant growth and evolution is what separates common men from extraordinary ones. You think you've won her over, and now you can relax, that the hard work is over, that you can settle down, stop developing, go on autopilot. Fatal error, catastrophic mistake. The fourth brutal truth: female desire is dynamic and demands constant evolution. She doesn't want a stagnant man, but someone who seeks to improve, learn, grow. Your personal development is the greatest aphrodisiac there is. Why? Because a high-value woman is always evolving. And if you don't keep up, you fall behind. It's not cruelty, it's nature. It's the law of life. Either you grow or you die. There's no middle ground. Think of the relationships around you that went wrong. How many died because one or both stopped growing? Because they entered their comfort zone and thought love would be enough? Love without growth is a plant without water. It can survive for a while, but it inevitably withers. So, what to do? First, have a purpose greater than just attracting women. Something that moves you, that gets you out of bed in the morning, that makes your eyes light up when you talk about it. It could be building a business, mastering an art, contributing to a cause. What matters is that it's authentic and challenging. Second, never stop learning. Read challenging books, take courses, learn new skills, travel to places that pull you out of your comfort zone. Talk to people who know more than you. Be an eternal student of life. Third, treat your body like the temple it is, not out of vanity, but out of self-respect. Exercise regularly. Eat well. Get enough sleep. A healthy body sustains a sharp mind and a vibrant spirit. Fourth, develop your emotional intelligence. Learn to deal with your own emotions before trying to deal with hers. Go to therapy if necessary. Meditate. Write in a journal. Know your triggers, your patterns, your shadows. The more you know yourself, the more deeply you can connect with others. The man she met at the beginning of the relationship should only be the beta version of the man you will become. Every year, every month, every day, you should be a little better. Not for her, but for you. And ironically, that's exactly what keeps the desire alive. She doesn't want predictability, she wants adventure. And what greater adventure than accompanying a man's evolution on his journey to greatness? But be careful. This doesn't mean changing your essence or becoming someone else. It means polishing the raw diamond you already are, removing the impurities, revealing the shine, reaching your maximum potential. If this scares you, good. It should. Growth is uncomfortable. It's painful sometimes, but it's also the only way to live a life worth living. And now, prepare for the deepest and most transformative truth of all. The fifth and final truth will make you rethink everything you believed about attraction and desire. You've spent your whole life chasing her desire, trying to decipher the code, searching for the magic formula. You studied techniques, memorized phrases, applied strategies, and yet something always seemed to be missing. Do you know why? Because you were looking in the wrong place. The fifth and most brutal truth. Female desire is a mirror of your own self-development. She cannot desire in you what you do not desire in yourself. Your ability to attract is directly proportional to your ability to love and respect yourself. True seduction begins with self-seduction. Let that sink in. Really sink in. All the techniques in the world won't work if you don't see yourself as worthy. Every game in the universe fails if you don't believe in your own value. Because women, especially high-value ones, have an unfailing radar for detecting disguised insecurity. You can fake confidence for a while. You can even learn the right body language, the appropriate tone of voice, the perfect words. But if deep down you don't believe you deserve an incredible woman, she will know. Maybe not consciously, but intuitively. And true desire will never blossom. So, how do you build this genuine self-love? I'm not talking about cheap narcissism or empty arrogance. I'm talking about a deep respect for who you are and who you are becoming. First, make peace with your past. We all have wounds, traumas, failures. Stop running from them. Face them, process them, learn from them, transform your scars into wisdom. Second, set high standards for yourself and live by them. Integrity is non-negotiable. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you set a goal, pursue it. If you have a value, live by it. Self-confidence comes from knowing you can trust yourself. Third, celebrate your victories no matter how small. Woke up early to work out? Victory. Had a difficult conversation you were putting off? Victory. Said no to something that no longer served you? Victory. Build momentum by recognizing your progress. Fourth, invest in yourself as you would invest in a promising business. Time, energy, money. Take courses, hire mentors, buy books, travel, experiment. Every investment in yourself pays dividends in all areas of your life, including your ability to attract. Fifth, develop a healthy relationship with solitude. If you can't be well with yourself, how do you expect anyone else to want to be with you? Chosen solitude is power. It's where you find yourself, know yourself, strengthen yourself. Sixth, stop comparing yourself to other men. Your journey is unique. Your timing is perfect for you. What looks like success in others can be a prison. Focus on being the best version of yourself, not an inferior copy of someone else. When you do this internal work, something magical happens. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop begging for crumbs of attention and start choosing who deserves yours. You stop questioning if you're good enough and start asking if she's good enough for you. And that, my friend, is irresistible. Because genuine confidence based on self-knowledge and self-love is the most powerful aphrodisiac there is. It cannot be faked, it cannot be bought, it can only be earned through consistent, internal work. Women are attracted to men who don't need them to feel complete, but who choose to have them around to share their completeness. It's a subtle but fundamental difference. Neediness repels, choice attracts. When you become the man you yourself would admire, you yourself would respect, you yourself would follow, female desire becomes a natural consequence, not a desperate goal. You don't seek external validation because internal validation is solid as a rock. But here's an important warning. This is not an overnight process. It's not a magic pill you take and suddenly you're done. It's a journey, a lifelong journey. And that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because while most men are looking for shortcuts, you'll be building foundations. While they're memorizing scripts, you'll be writing your own story. While they're pretending to be alphas, you'll be becoming truly centered. And women notice. Oh, they notice. Maybe not immediately, but over time your energy changes. Your presence becomes more solid. Your gaze more penetrating. Your calm deeper. You become the kind of man who doesn't need to announce his arrival. The atmosphere simply changes when you enter. This isn't arrogance. It's presence. And presence comes from knowing exactly who you are, what you're worth, and where you're going. No excuses, no explanations, no need for approval. If you've made it this far, you're already different from most. Most would have given up at the first discomfort, but you haven't. You're ready for the truth, however brutal it may be. You're ready for the work, however hard it may seem. You're ready for the transformation, however scary it might be. So here's my final challenge for you. In the next 30 days, commit to one thing. Just one. It could be implementing one of the truths I shared. It could be starting a self-knowledge journal. It could be finally having that difficult conversation you've been putting off. It could be starting that project your heart calls for, but your fear prevents. What matters is not the size of the step, but the direction. A man in motion, even if slowly, is infinitely more attractive than a man standing still, no matter how beautiful the place he's parked. And remember, female desire is not something to be conquered or manipulated. It's a natural response to your own mastery and authenticity. When you become the best man you can be, not for them, but for you, desire flows naturally. Like water, that always finds its way. These 5 brutal truths are not secrets or techniques. They are universal principles that govern not only attraction, but life itself. Integrity over image, depth over superficiality, challenge over complacency, growth over stagnation, self-love over external validation. Apply them not just to attract women, but to build an extraordinary life. Because in the end, that's what truly matters. Not how many women you attract, but what kind of man you become in the process. And when you become that man, the man you yourself would admire, the rest is consequence. Natural, inevitable, magnetic. Female desire ceases to be a mystery and becomes a reflection. The reflection of your own inner brilliance finally revealed to the world. Comment now. Which of these truths resonated with you the most? Which one will you apply first? Hit the like button if you're committed to your own transformation. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next content that will delve deeper into each of these truths. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it. The journey starts now, and it starts with you, always with you.